going on, everybody? It's Alex Fishbein back again. And look at this. I'm not sitting in front of my webcam and kind of just yelling at you guys with real close face to face. Nope, we're getting a little bit more professional these days. So, without further ado, let's go right into today's and this week's episode of Fish's Friday Rant. We will be talking about Ibaka going to the Raptors. We will be talking about Kevin Love getting hurt and being replaced in the All-Star game. We'll be talking about DeMarcus Cousins talking about signing his contract. And we will also be talking about this whole thing going on, well, not the whole thing because we already talked about most of it, but what is happening now with Dolan versus Oakley. So, start things off. We got the trade. We have a first round pick and Terrence Ross heading to Orlando. And Orlando is shipping over Ibaka to the Raptors. Now, one thing I have been saying for the longest time, if you've listened to the Atlantic Files, the podcast about the Atlantic Division that I was doing for a while now, I have always been saying that the Raptors need someone who is a defensive big man. They have to have a defensive presence down there because when you're driving to the hoop and you see they have Valanciunas, you're not scared about that. You don't care if Valanciunas is in the lane or if he's not in the lane because most of the time you're going to be able to hit that layup, get that dunk, whatever you want to get. Now, that's not to say that Valanciunas is not a good rebounder. The guy is a really good rebounder. He has a knack for it. He can box out. Offensively, Valanciunas also a good option. But when we're talking about rim protection, when we're talking about low post defense, when we're talking about help defense, he's not your guy. He's just not the one that's going to take your team to the places you want to go. So, what they had before, they had someone to come in off the bench who was a remedy for that in Bismack Biyombo. But now he's in Orlando. So, you don't have him anymore. Now they have Bebe. Bebe was doing well. Like, the plus-minus with him on the court compared to Valanciunas, Bebe's was better. But then he got hurt. Now, with Cleveland, like, sort of in reach, like, when they first got Korver, they went on a bit of a losing streak. They had to get that chemistry back together. You had LeBron talking about getting some kind of playmaker. And now Kevin Love is hurt. So now you get this defensive big man. You get Ibaka, who we all saw in Oklahoma City that he can be that big impact that you want. However, in Orlando, this guy hasn't been playing that well. He has been a shell of himself lately. So really what everyone is hoping for right now is that this change of scenery into a team who is a contender, and then onto a team who has some superstars there. Well, stars might be a little dicey saying they're superstars, even though Kyle Lowry, I think, is one of the top 2 best point guards in the East. But that's beside the point. So now you have him in this new environment with a winning team around him, with a team who is contending for the top seeds in the East, one who can possibly push Cleveland to at least a Game 7. And so now you might see some revitalized energy in this guy. You might see him really getting back and making a huge impact on defense like he used to do. And he still has the ability to get you some spacing on the offensive end as well. And they still do have Patrick Patterson, a guy who can space on the bench and bring him in as a relief man for Ibaka. Or if you want to run a little bit small, you can go with Patterson at the 4 and Ibaka at the 5 when Valanciunas gets subbed off. Either way, this trade is looking pretty good for the Raptors. The only thing is, they did hurt their depth a little bit here, but that bench squad of Lowry plus bench, I still think will be able to thrive even with Terrence Ross not there. Because a lot of that, honestly, was the duo of Lowry and Corey Joseph. So I think that that's going to be still a very nice duo. So, moving on from that, we said Love was hurt. And now he's replaced in the All-Star game. But now let's see here. who do they replace him with? You know, I was thinking like Porzingis. I was thinking like Hassan Whiteside. I was thinking Bradley Beal. But no, they go Carmelo Anthony. And now, knowing the NBA, I should have probably thought of that. Probably should have. But, like, when we're taking into account, like, you know, the NBA usually wants the best, you know, like a fan-driven all-star game. So, you know, they really want to appease to the fans. Now, obviously, the next best person would have been Embiid, but Embiid's hurt. So now, you throw in Carmelo Anthony, one that even Knicks fans are booing, one that comes from a team who really has been the center of everything kind of stupid so far this season. No disrespect to you Knicks fans. I'm not saying like you guys are the problem. Like the Knicks organization is the problem. So I'm not saying that. But so you have Melo coming in, the older kind of superstar, kind of, you know, adding on to his legacy. Whereas Porzingis, a guy who's usually on highlights nightly, where everyone is like, whoa, Porzingis this, Porzingis that, one of the best young big men coming up. Some people think he's better than Embiid, some people think he's better than Karl Anthony Towns, whatever it may be. So instead of him, you're going to go with Carmelo, who really isn't having that good of a season in his own career terms, not having that great of a season. And you're going to bypass Bradley Beal, who's finally healthy for most of this season, who is having a pretty good season himself. And you're going to bypass Hassan Whiteside, who has also been a beast, who has been one of the linchpins of this team that won 13 in a row just recently. And so you're just going to go with Melo, just probably because for the NBA that's the easy pick. You're going to go with Melo, you're going to say, hey, he's a superstar. Everyone still kind of likes Melo because of what he's done over his career, and you got the storyline of him with like LeBron and all them, although like Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul and them really aren't going to like that whole Banana Boat crew isn't really going to do much for this All-Star game. So even still, Melo isn't even the best choice on his own team to replace Kevin Love. So you're going to put him in over 3 other people that definitely deserve it more than him? When even Porzingis deserves it more, and he's on the same team. And you put Melo. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now moving on again, DeMarcus Cousins said he really wants to sign this contract and stay in Sacramento. Why? Why, man? Why? Like, please go to a different team where the front office is, like, at least competent. Like, and I'm sorry, Kings fans. Like, I don't wish this upon you. I honestly wouldn't wish what's happening in Sacramento upon anybody. But this front office is just horrid. Well, okay, so the only thing they have done right is that they keep getting Cousins to stay. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they at least have that on their record. I don't know. That's all I can really think of for them. So, to finish things off, we have the whole Oakley and Dolan thing. Now, if you didn't know what happened, which, I mean, honestly, if you don't know by now, you just haven't really been watching any kind of sports news at all. But it's playing behind me, and what happened is that Oakley came to the Knicks game. He bought tickets, he came to the game, and then was forcibly removed from the stadium by Dolan. Well, Dolan ordered it, and then the security guards carried out the instruction. Then Dolan banned him. Then Dolan brought in Latrell Sprewell the other game when he also had a ban at some point, which made no sense to me. Then he lifts the ban from Oakley, and everyone was kind of like, yeah, the ban was lifted, but Oakley's still pissed. And he should be. Like, how are you going to forcibly remove this man from your stadium when he played for your team and was a big name for your team, then ban him from the stadium, then unban him and be like, hey, we're cool, right? No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Yes, I did quote that commercial. But still, that's not how this works. And honestly, Oakley has every right to still be mad. And if I was him, I would also still be mad. And he compared Dolan to Sterling, which, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. So now we're in this ground of, cool, you unbanned him, but you still did it. You still said he was like an alcoholic, had mental issues and all this kind of stuff, and you still did all of, like, ban him, remove him, all of that. So just unbanning him isn't going to fix it. It's not going to be like, okay guys, unbanned, we're done, we're gone. No, that's not what happens. Dolan, stop being dumb and just be a decent human being. That's really all you gotta do, because Oakley's not there to go hurt anybody. Oakley's not there to go cause any chaos or pain or harm to anybody. He's there to watch a Knicks game and talk to former Knicks, former players, former coaches that he was with, and so he can catch up with people. That's really all that was happening, but you gotta make this a thing. You gotta put the Knicks in the forefront of the news for being stupid, and now, look, everyone's making fun of you. That's your fault. That's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching another week of Fish's Friday Rant. We are on Twitter at @BBallSociety_. We're on Facebook at the Basketball Society, Instagram Basketball Society _ and definitely check out our website, basketballsocietyonline.com. And that's it for me, guys. Peace.